Hey now everybody, this is Jamie.
Hey, this is Chris.
And this is Steve.
And this is our very first video. And in these videos, we're going to try to do something a little different. What we're going to do is we're going to discuss a topic, and each one of us is going to have a piece of that discussion. And we're going to release it in 3 parts over 3 days. So our very first topic we're going to talk about, and we're going to focus on Chris this time, is going to be pop culture board games. All right, so if you've listened to any of our podcasts in the past, whenever we talk about topics, we're all talking about a different thing. Even though we have one specific topic, it always goes all over the place. Everybody has different thoughts of what that topic actually means. So we're going to start off each one of them asking the person who's presenting to define the category to them. So we're talking about pop culture board games, Chris. What does that mean to you?
All right, well, to me, pop culture is kind of any topic or theme or show, game, movie that appeals to like the nerd in all of us. You know, it's something along the lines of Star Trek or Star Wars or video games or you know, any of these like Avengers movies, anything like that. To call popular culture just anything that's popular to me is just not true, because football, by most people's definition, would not be pop culture.
Most people's?
I think almost anybody would say that football is not pop culture. But totally. All right. Anyways,
I'm going on your list. What's your first one on the list of pop culture games here, Chris?
All right. Number one on my list is a theme that is near and dear to me. It's a game I played a ton in the 80s in the old arcades. Rampage, now known as Terror in Meeple City.
That's right. Well, that's a horrible name, Terror in Meeple City.
Yeah, Rampage was great, but you know, on licensing, they probably couldn't get away with that for very long.
Probably got in trouble.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I think you need to put yourselves in the tiny wooden shoes of those meeples, and then you'll realize it's terrifying.
Well, yeah, because they're holding up floors of buildings.
It's terrifying just living as a meeple in Meeple City.
Exactly. Your job is essentially to hold up the structures that all the meeples can't walk into because they're all holding up the building.
That's right.
It's a nightmare. But so essentially in Terror in Meeple City, you construct this giant city of buildings where the meeples are the supports of the different floors of the buildings. And all the people play dinosaurs that are running around. They have different powers. And you move by flicking a little disc that are your dinosaur's feet. And then when you get where you're going, you put your dinosaur down on top of the disc. Your goal is to knock over these buildings and then eat the people that fall out of the building. And I think it's really cool because the dinosaurs have different powers that let you utilize them in different ways. Like some jump, some blow, some do all kinds of other stuff. And there's set collection. You'll get points for collecting different types of meeples. So there's some strategy in what you want to knock down and what you want to eat. And you can attack each other, which is kind of cool too. But yes, Terror in Meeple City, horrible name. I'm so glad I own the original and can just call it Rampage.
Well, I got to say, I love this game as well. There's a ton of these dexterity games where you're flicking things around and you're knocking things around and whatever. You got the flick 'em up, which is cowboys and whatever. Terror in Meeple City, or Rampage, if you prefer the real version, is just a fantastic game. It's so cool to knock down stuff because literally the board becomes a giant mess by the end. It looks like a rubble city.
Oh yeah, it's totally cluttered with nonsense. There's meeples on the floor. People flick their discs across the room. It's chaos.
I think there's only one person's meeples on the floor. It's yours.
And yeah, this is a really fun game, and every time I play it, I picture Chris turning into Chris Farley and somehow landing his body on the table and collapsing the whole thing.
Well, I will tell you that I am absolutely certain that my vacuum cleaner has found many of Chris's meeples in it at some point from my floor.
I always get crap, but everybody who plays that game knocks meeples on the floor. I mean, they just go everywhere.
I don't know about that. I got more control than you.
You always have to count them when you're done playing. Oh, whatever.
Terror in Meeple City, an excellent game. I dig it.
Yeah.
Good choice, Chris.
Very great game.
And there's a great movie with The Rock in it right now.
No, I can't. That cannot be good. I'm sorry.
Come on.
No, it can't be.
You got
good.
A gigantic monkey with The Rock running under his feet with a machine gun.
There's a giant werewolf like flying out of a forest.
Yeah, that's right. He's wings.
I think it's a regular wolf.
Wait, the wolf has wings?
Yeah.
Okay, that is really stupid.
It's
no.
ridiculous.
All right. I'm going to my next one because that's just stupid.
Yeah, move on.
All right.
I don't want to talk about that.
All right, so my second game is one that's based on something that's very popular right now. Everybody was talking about this a couple months ago because Avengers Infinity War came out. Thanos, people had been waiting for years for this to happen. Marvel has been teasing us forever. So the movie came out, it was a huge success, and then they came out with a game called Thanos Rising, which I immediately thought would be horrible. I thought this game would be terrible, and I don't want to play it. And then it just happened to show up at one of our game nights, and I was stunned at how much fun this game is. You essentially play a guy who's collecting heroes, which are cards, that have different abilities in order to beat back Thanos' minions. And your goal is not to necessarily kill Thanos. Your goal is to kill a certain number of his minions. And you're doing this with the help of other players who are collecting their own sets of heroes. Meanwhile, Thanos is going around trying to get his Infinity Stones. And when he gets enough, I guess you call them credits or points towards one stone, he'll actually get the stone. And it gives him some superpower that's just a nightmare. I thought it was extremely challenging. The fact that it's a dice game and you're trying to tweak, you're taking heroes to tweak how you use dice or how many dice you have or what your abilities are. I thought it was really cool when every time I've played it, everybody kind of takes their own role, and it happens kind of organically. It's just people just get a certain role.
Yeah, like one person's being the healer, going around making sure everybody's heroes are healed up.
Yeah.
Another person's like trying to stop the progress of Thanos with the Infinity Stones. Another guy's just running around killing monsters. It's great. Like it really is. Like you organically take these roles because many of these games they'll deal out roles. To
Exactly.
you. That's your goal. This one, it's you pick your role, and you could have 2 healers this particular time because there's just tons of damage coming out.
Yeah,
it's so well done. It's a well done, like almost like mass market style board game. It's just dice rolling, but yet there's a ton of strategy, and it's difficult too.
And it has like all the Marvel characters that were in Infinity War. So you see the characters you care about come out on the board, and everybody digs that. I mean, it's not like it's just the X-Men. It's all the characters from the movie. So you got Guardians of the Galaxy, you've got the regular Avengers, all those characters are in there, and you just, if you're me, you just want to get them to have them. Because I have to have Nebula, and Jamie can't have Nebula, even though she's going to be perfect for him. Nebula's mine because it's my favorite character.
Because she's Amy Pond. You got to have Amy Pond.
I have to have Amy Pond. Sorry. Sorry, Jamie. I know this will help us win the game, but no, she's mine.
Chris, the ultimate co-op partner.
It is an excellent game. I really do like it.
It is.
It's well done. It's a well done dice game.
And I'm very concerned that some people will be turned off by it being an IP and the way the box looks, and you're kind of like, this is going to be junk. It's so good. So good.
All right, Thanos Rising. Next up, your last one. Last one on the list, Chris. What is it?
Last one on the list is based on my favorite television show of all time.
Of course.
Battlestar Galactica. One of the best pop culture games out there. Even though it has some significant flaws, it is fantastic. So in Battlestar Galactica, if you have not seen the show, go out and watch it because you're crazy.
It is one of the best television shows that has ever existed in any medium, movies, TV shows, comic books, anything. Battlestar Galactica.
Right.
Best ever.
Remember, folks, if you haven't done some obscure thing Chris just said, you're crazy.
That's right. It's true. It's true. So basically, general theme of Battlestar Galactica is the humans have been forced from their homes by these race of mechanical creatures called Cylons, who now have the ability to take on human form and have infiltrated the fleet that's fleeing to find a new home. And in the game, some people are given roles of Cylons and some people are given roles of humans, and no one at the start of the game knows who anybody else is. So it is a hidden traitor game, which I hate. I don't like hidden traitor games. I hate them.
Because you're really bad at it.
Because I'm horrible. I'm bad at lying. But the thing I love about this game is I can mitigate that being bad at lying by any time, I should say, a majority of the time that a situation comes up where you have to lie, you do it by slipping cards into a deck. When you resolve a problem, you put a card in. And that not only lets me sometimes shift the blame to somebody else, but doesn't make me have to open my mouth and lie to people. So I like that aspect of it. And I also like the aspect of, even if you get found out as a traitor, as a Cylon, you still have things you can do. When you get found out, you can just either, they can kill you or you can off yourself and you go over to the Cylon ship and start wrecking havoc from over there. So it's not like you're out of the game or you can't do anything for the rest of the game.
That's true, because there's so many of these games, you know, like The Thing and all these other games. If you're found out, the other players just shut you down.
Yeah, you're basically just sit there for the rest of the game and watch them play.
Right, and this one, you actually have options. Now, granted, I don't think it's as fun to be a found out Cylon, but at least you have options. You go over the Cylon ship, you have some action spaces you can take to try to change the way you play.
Yeah, and this game has 4 expansions. Right? We got to point out that it has 4 expansions, and everybody who is a fan of this game will tell you, you have to piecemeal those expansions together to make the perfect version of Battlestar. So please, 2nd edition, please, just get all the good stuff together and put out one box so people can enjoy this game, because it's a fantastic game. You just have to buy 4 games to get the real good version of it.
Right. I have to say, like, this game, we used to love this game so much. But over the years, it's just a fragile game. We like to call these games fragile games because you'll play 10 games and 6 of them might be great and the other 4 will be crappy. And the game is 4 hours long.
It's a long game.
So it's really tough to sit through a 4-hour bad game.
Yeah.
You know, we've done it. Like the last time I played, it was like, okay, in the first half an hour of the game, the Cylon was found out and it was boring for that player specifically. And actually for the rest of us too, because we figured he was the only one. The game needs a 2nd edition that's streamlined, that cuts down the time, that adds in all the cool things from the expansion. That's it.
Yeah.
Give me a 2nd edition. This is what we need.
My opinion at this point is, until that happens, the good experiences are well worth the bad experiences, but 4 hours for a bad experience is rough.
It's rough.
But I love it. I still enjoy it. I take the risk of the bad game to get a game of Battlestar in. It's near and dear to my heart.
So what you're saying, Chris, is it's kind of like going to your in-laws for the evening. You don't know if it's going to be great or not.
Yeah, more or less, it is probably going to suck. But when it's really good, it's good.
I was waiting for a joke there, Steve. I don't know. All right, Chris. Well, thank you very much for your list of pop culture game recommendations. Come on back tomorrow, where we're going to talk about Steve and all of his favorite pop culture games. And until then, have a good one, everybody.
See you, everybody.
See you later.
Thanks so much, everybody. If you've enjoyed this video, please do us a giant favor by subscribing to the channel and clicking that wacky bell icon. If you're into board games, miniatures games, role-playing games, we have a bunch of audio podcasts you might enjoy. You can find those at thesecretcabal.com or on iTunes and Stitcher.